Hey guys, welcome to a new video where we're going to be going through the LCK and the LEC format changes for next year in 2025. There's not many more videos coming this week other than the World's Finals video, which will be on Saturday night. And if you want to watch the World Finals live, I'll be streaming it from the O2 Arena on Saturday at around 12:30 to 1 p.m. I'll be live BST, so be there. Hope you enjoyed the video. So, there is a new format for the LEC and there is a new format for the LCK coming next year. TLDR. I'll give you the rundown. Dracos gives you the rundown. We can listen to that.
Today, I'm here to explain the format to you. Strap in for some graphics, brackets, numbers, all that fun stuff, because at the end of this,
format change for 2025 LEC.
Season. As Max highlighted, in 2025, we are moving to a 3-split structure. This means we're going to have winter, spring, and summer splits with no more season finals.
No more season finals.
This aligns with the 3 in-game ranked seasons that were announced earlier this year. The LEC and your adventures on the Rift are going to be more close than ever before. Now, every split will offer up high stakes with the LEC trophy and qualification for the next international event on the line. That means that one bad split might knock you out of contention, while the next will offer a clean slate to secure a title and represent EMEA on the international stage.
3 splits.
With the short turnaround time between the start of the year and the first international event, the winter split will remain really similar to the previous format, except for the introduction of
Fearless Draft is coming.
Ooh, that's right. All matches during winter playoffs will be using Fearless Draft. More details on that soon. TM.
So that's in the playoffs of winter.
First up, we'll have a 3-week single round robin featuring best of 1 series. The top 8 teams will then progress to a double elimination playoff bracket consisting
so best of 1s
of both best of 3 and best of 5
into
series.
best of 3s into
the
best of
LEC winner
5s.
split final will then crown our first LEC champion of the year, and we'll see the winner go on to compete in the all-new international event.
So, a quick thing to note, it says the winner will go on to compete at the international event. So that basically means that in winter, it sounds like only one team from each region is going. It says one team's going. So that new international event sounds like an old MSI.
So, winter. Mostly the same, but fearless. First LEC title of the year, and new international competition. Got it? Next up, spring split. The spring split will see us introduce more best of 3s to the LEC, which we know is something that you've been eager to see us experiment with in the recent years. Spring split will be a 7-week regular season in which all LEC teams play 9 best of 3s against all other teams in the league. 6 teams will qualify for playoffs.
Yeah, very
playoffs
standard.
Will again feature a double elimination.
That's a very standard LCK-esque.
And will crown our second champion of the year, as well as offer both finalists a spot at MSI. So, spring. More BO3, hype, and 2 seeds at MSI. Got it? To round it out, summer split. Summer will continue to offer up more best of 3s, but we're opting for something a little different for the regular season format. This time, we're splitting 10 LEC teams into 2 groups, with each team playing 4 best of 3 series matches. The top 2 teams of each group will then advance to playoffs, with the 5th place teams being eliminated, and the 3rd and 4th place teams playing across groups for the final 2 spots. The playoffs will then see 6 teams compete against each other in another double elimination best of 5 bracket to determine the winner of the final split of the year and which 3 teams will be representing EMEA at Worlds. The LEC Summer Finals will take place as a roadshow at the end of the summer split, with the location and venue set to be revealed early next year.
So here comes the TLDR.
TM. For summer, BO3s, BO5s, 2 groups, the final LEC champ of the year, a finals roadshow, and the top 3 teams go to Worlds. Simple, right? Okay, to summarize, winter, very much the same, but fearless and a new international tournament. Spring, more BO3s and 2 seeds at MSI. Summer, even more BO3s, a roadshow, and qualification to Worlds, baby. Whew.
Pretty simple.
That's a lot of information. But I hope this gives you a good idea of what...
Pretty simple. Pretty simple. I like the new LEC format. Obviously, the thing that sucks is that winter is best of 1 to begin with, which is never a good thing. You know, best of 1s are kind of bad, but it's not that long. It's only 3 weeks. And then it's into playoffs, best of 3s and best of 5s. And those best of 3s and best of 5s are fearless. Slow start with best of 1s for 3 weeks, but then we're into fearless best of 3s, best of 5s. One team will go to the new international, which is the first international, technically the 3rd of the international of the year being added. But it'll be the first international, and it'll be a fearless draft international tournament only. So only the first seeds will go. Oh yeah, I'll give you a quick explanation of fearless draft. Fearless draft is simple. Any champion that is picked during the series is no longer pickable once it's picked once. So if I play Azir game 1, no one can play Azir game 2. So all those champions that are played in game 1 are not allowed to be played in game 2. Similarly, all those champions played in game 2 are not allowed to be played in game 3. So by the time you get to game 3, there's 20 champions gone because you pick 10 champions each. You can't use the same champions. So if you get to the 5th game, this is where the ruling I'm interested in. Oftentimes in the LCK Challenger Series, when it gets to game 5, it all resets and you can play anything. Because by the time you get to game 5, there's 40 champions gone. Plus bans, there's 50 champions gone if you have 5 bans each, right? I wonder what they're going to do about game 5s in playoffs. Are they going to do the reset, or are they going to do the full Fearless 5th game, everything's banned, 50 champions, you know? Apparently it might be a soft Fearless, not a hard Fearless. Basically, there's two types of Fearless. There's hard Fearless and there's soft Fearless. Hard Fearless is if I pick Azir, for example, no one can play Azir, neither team. It's gone for the rest of the series, right? So if you have a a really good Vi player, let's say, and I pick Vi blue side first pick in game 1, you can't play Vi for the rest of the series. Soft Fearless means that whatever I play, I can't play for the rest of the series. I can first pick Vi in game 1, but that means I can't play Vi for game 2, but you can. So it's anything you play that is not allowed to be played. So I can't deny them champions, kind of, right? That's the soft version. So the hard version is the champion's gone forever. The soft version is whatever you pick is gone for you forever. So people can use the champions even if the other teams use them. Now, the only worry I have for this format is, you guys will know this if you're League watchers, teams that get back from MSI often have very slow starts to the split. They do. And if I win Spring Split and I play on a patch and I practice this patch super hard during MSI and I take a 2-week break because I've had a much longer calendar year than you, I get to summer and I'm late to practice because obviously I had a longer split and I haven't been playing the patch as much, whereas the teams that didn't go to MSI maybe can practice harder, right? And train for earlier. So when you rock up to summer, there's no championship points. So if I rock up to summer after having won spring and I'm slow started into this 4 best-of-3 games and I go 2-2 and I place 3rd place in my group even though I came first in spring because I'm late MSI hangover, there's a chance that I get knocked out of Worlds just because I started later. And the one thing that I hope they do to fix this is when they do this cross-team play against each other, that this is a best of 5. If this is a best of 3 and your split could be over from finishing 3rd, 4th, I'd be very worried if you're a 1st, 2nd place team and your MSI hangover is there. So I really hope this becomes a best of 5. It doesn't say, but I get the feeling that it's a best of 3. It says it's a best of 3. Yeah, I hope they change that to a best of 5. Because I can see like a G2 or a Fnatic going to MSI, starting off really slow in summer, going 2-2 in their best of 3 group, and then playing an elimination game. And if they lose that, their year is over. Like, your year is just over if you lose that best of 3. It's done. So I'm a bit concerned about that, because nothing carries across splits anymore. So you can win winter, you can win spring, but if you fuck up this group in 4 best of 3s, your year's over. Which is obviously good for high stakes, but also that's a bit of a struggle, I think, for some teams. Because if you lose that, you're out, gone, which is very fun. So that's the new format for LEC. Pretty simple. Best of 1 winter into Fearless Draft playoffs with an international for the 1st seed. Best of 3 regular season with double elimination best of 5, which is the LCK split, basically. And then you've got the summer split, which is best of 3, best of 5 groups, which is kind of similar to what LPL did, except without the Fearless. So pretty simple. I think it's much better. Championship points are gone. There's no more championship points. There's also a couple more things that are coming to the LEC. For example,
one of my personal favorite changes for 2025 is that we are going to pilot new ways to bring the LEC closer to fans locally. By working closely with LEC teams, we're taking the LEC on the road during Spring Split, and we will host a very limited number, likely 1 or 2 match days, in local countries at a venue of the participating team's choice.
So if you watched the LCK, you would know that there was the T1 versus KT home ground, which was a regular season game in a big arena. Basically, what they're essentially saying is K-Corp has built a huge arena. We're going to use that for regular season games in spring. Maybe Koi could rent out a venue. Maybe G2 could rent out a venue. Maybe Fnatic could rent out a venue and host. They're given the option to host their regular season games in an arena to make it more, you know, like roadshowy in a way, right?
Again, further
there are a few more details. Basically, championship points are gone, and they've removed them because obviously, like, Mad Lions is a team who did really well in winter, did pretty bad in spring and summer, but because they won winter, they have enough championship points to make it to the top 6. That now, if you do insanely well in winter, it doesn't matter. You have to be a good summer split team. That's all that matters. And so that's why I'm worried about this whole summer best of 3 thing in the groups, because not only are you going to MSI and you're late to the patch and you're late to the practice and you're probably taking a break and you're more burnt out than teams, it gives teams more incentive to all in a summer split. If I've lost spring, I could make big roster changes and full send it for these 4 best of 3s to make it into the groups playoffs. All the teams that have lost might make huge roster changes to upgrade their rosters for summer. So summer is going to be really exciting for the viewers. Don't get me wrong. That is fucking high stakes. Everything's on the line in those groups. You make it or you don't, or you're out of worlds. So teams are going to go all in on their rosters if they want to make changes. I just worry a little bit for the team side if you go to MSI and you come into this a little bit late. You're a bit nerfed. You can argue that spring split and winter split are pointless now that there's no championship points, but I disagree heavily. Both of them get you to internationals. Like, the stakes are you're playing for an international every split. So, you know, it's really important. But for sure, like, summer is the most important, and it always has been. So that's the changes to the LEC. The other change to the LEC, all games we played on the live patch. That's the final change. There's no more they're on the last patch. There's no more they're 2 patches ago. There's no more this.
Will be played on the latest patch
on the live
whenever
patch.
possible. This means that
So the LCS format is copied in the sense that everyone's going to play on the live patch. And I think that's a very good change. I think that was a good change from the LCS.
sport will now mirror the live environment of League even more closely.
That encourages innovation. That encourages way more like diversity in champion pools. It encourages a lot more research on the patch. You can't just stick to one patch and become one patch. And it says when possible. I think what he means by that is I think they will probably lock the patch on the playoffs. During the regular season, they'll probably keep changing the patches as the weeks go on. But when it gets to a best of 5 playoffs, double elimination, I think they'll lock the patch. So when it gets to, best of 5s, I think they'll probably lock it. So that's the big changes to the LEC. The LCK format has also changed. Obviously, the LCK format has to change because there's 3 internationals now. So every single major region will move into 3 split formats.
리그 오브 레전드 e스포츠의 지속 가능성을 높이고 흥미와 경쟁의 묘미를 더욱 끌어올리기 위해
LCK have a
2025년
different
시즌
take.
LCK의 새로운 변화가 찾아옵니다. 지난 6월 더 밝은 미래의 기반 마련이라는 글을 통해 LOL e스포츠에 찾아올 다양한 변경점들을 안내해드렸죠. LOL e스포츠의 대대적인 변화에 발맞춰 새롭게 바뀔 LCK는 어떤 모습일까요? 가장 큰 변화점은 하나의 LCK 시즌 챔피언, 공식 시즌 전 진행되는 컵 대회, 다양한 스타일의 경쟁
I'll
방식,
explain it after the video if
총
you're confused.
3가지인데요. 기존의 LCK는 스프링과 서머, 2 스플릿으로 나뉘어져 각각의 챔피언을 가렸다면 2025 LCK는 이제 단일 시즌으로 진행되며 오직 단 한 팀만이 시즌 챔피언의 자리에 오르게 됩니다. 2025년 1월 새롭게 신설된 국제대회의 진출전을 겸하는 가칭 LCK컵이
So I'll
시작됩니다.
pause and describe. So what LCK have done is instead of having a winter split, they've made the LCK Cup. So that's going to be a big tournament with all the teams where everyone plays to qualify to the first international. It's just going to be one big tournament instantly.
게임 내 새로운 시즌이 적용된 이후에 열리는 첫 대회인 만큼 다양한 인게임 변경 사항들이 프로
They've
레벨에서
avoided the whole
어떻게
season
해석되는지
thing.
엿볼 수 있게 될 텐데요. 전 경기 피어리스 드래프트
And
진행,
it's all fearless draft as
팀들
well.
간 더욱 치열한 대결이
You'll notice that every major region will move to fearless draft for their winter split or their LCK Cup or whatever LCS and LPL are doing. It'll be a fearless draft cup somehow to qualify, obviously, because the international event is fearless. Everyone's going to be moving to fearless in the first split of Lolesports calendar.
예상됩니다. LCK컵은 그룹 대항전, 플레이인, 플레이오프로 구성됩니다. 우선 10개 팀이 2그룹으로 대결을 진행하는데요. 전년도 서머 1, 2팀이 A, B조로 나뉘어 각자 원하는 한 팀을 지명하면 지명된
So the way it'll work is the first and the second place teams, I believe, from the previous season, so that would be HLE and Genji, will be split into 2 groups for the LCK Cup in winter, and they'll be able to choose the people in their groups based on seeding, I think.
각자 원하는 한 팀을 지명하면 지명된 팀들이 또다시 원하는 팀의 지명을 이어가는 방식으로 그룹을 완성합니다. 각 팀은 다른 그룹의 모든 팀과 싱글 라운드 로빈으로 크로스 매치를 진행하고
So each team in the groups will play cross matches, which are I think best of 3s.
같은 그룹의 팀 전적이 합산되어 승자조와 패자조를 가립니다. 승자조 상위 3팀은 플레이오프 직행,
Top 3 teams from the groups go
승자조
to
4, 5위
playoffs.
팀과 패자조 상위 4팀, 총 6팀은 플레이인에서 마지막 승부를 펼치게 되는데요.
Wait, what? The top 3 teams in the winners groups will advance directly to the playoffs. Oh, I see.
플레이오프 직행, 승자조 4, 5위 팀과 패자조
The top 3 teams from the winners groups will advance to playoffs. Okay.
승자조 4, 5위 팀과
With the fourth,
패자조
fifth
상위 4팀,
We'll join the
총
top 4 teams from the
6팀은
losers group in
플레이인에서
the play-in
마지막 승부를
showdown.
펼치게 되는데요.
And the last place team is out.
조에 상관없이 팀 개별 승수가 높은 순서대로 시드가 배정되고 3, 4라운드의 승자와 파이널 라운드 승자 총 3팀이 플레이오프에 진출합니다.
Let me explain. I completely get it. I can simplify this for you so easily. So there's two groups, right? So HLE and Gen G will split into these two groups, right? So we'll say Gen G is Group A, Humble Life is Group B. Now, what you ideally want to do is you want to pick the strongest teams in your group, okay? Now, I'll get to that in a second. So Gen G and Humble Life, ideally, they'll choose from 8 teams, and it's in their benefit to choose the strongest teams. Why? Because what happens is your group plays against their group. Everyone plays cross-group games, okay? So whichever group wins against the other group, the top 3 from that group go through to playoffs. See what I'm saying? So if I'm Gen G, I want T1 in my group, I want KT in my group, I want DK in my group, I want the strong teams in my group so that we can win against their group, right? Because the top 3 from the groups that win go straight to playoffs. Whereas the losing group plus 2 teams from the other group that failed to win their games will go into a lower bracket playoffs with the last place team of the group going out. So this team, for example, this group got 14 wins against this team with 11 wins, right? So that means the top 3 from this group would go through, the bottom 2 would go into a playoffs group, and these 4 would join the 2 into a 6-team playoffs, and this team would be out. It's very dank. I get it. I see it's very dank. They've got a very unique style. This is their format for their tournament, okay? It's in your best interest to win as much as possible because you'll be playing against the other group. So, you know, if I'm Gen G or Humble Life, I want to pick the strongest teams in my group so we can win against the other group. And if we win against the other group, the top 3 from my group go to playoffs. It's a very complex format for sure, but it's definitely quite exciting because you're all kind of working together, but also, even though you're working together in your group to beat their group, you also want to be top 3 of your group.
승자조와 패자조를 가립니다. 승자조 상위 세
So the
팀은
top 3 of the group go to
플레이오프
playoffs, and
승자조
then
4,
the
5위
remaining
팀과
6
패자조
teams
상위 4팀 총
play in a
6팀은
play-ins bracket.
플레이인에서 마지막 승부를 펼치게 되는데요. 조에 상관없이 팀 개별 승수가 높은 순서대로 시드가 배정되고
And in those 6
3,
teams,
4라운드의
they play best
승자와
of 3 round
파이널
robins,
라운드 승자 총
and the
3팀이
winners, the
플레이오프에
top 3
진출합니다.
teams, go to playoffs to join the other 3 teams
이렇게
who are the top
모인
of the group.
6개 팀은 현재 LCK 플레이오프와 동일한
And then that's best of
세미
5.
더블 엘리미네이션 방식으로 최종 승자를 가립니다.
And then the winner goes to the international. Does that make sense? It's quite complex. They've definitely made a very complex style for their cup, but it's very unique and it's a very new format.
팀은 3월에 열리는 첫 번째 국제 대회의 진출 자격을
It's funny if you think about it, right? If there's Group A and Group B, and Group A has Gen G and Group B has Humble Life, right? The top 3 from one of the groups will go through. So that means that you're guaranteed that one of these 2 teams will play in that lower bracket playoffs. Guaranteed. Because they need to win their group. So HLE gets first choice and they choose T1. Gen G gets second choice. Let's say they choose DK. Then DK and T1 can choose their next team. So T1 then chooses, like, let's say they choose FearX. And then DK can choose KT. I see. So it goes down the order. So each team gets one choice other than the last 2 teams. And that's how they build their groups. Interesting. Okay. Wow. They've definitely made quite a complex format, but I'm starting to understand it now.
첫 번째 국제 대회를
All right,
마친
so we've gone through that. That's the LCK Cup. It's got a weird format, but it'll be a fun format to watch.
후 LCK는 정규 시즌에
This is
돌입하게
where
됩니다.
another big change comes in for the LCK.
1, 2라운드는 MSI 이전, 3, 4, 5라운드는 MSI
What they've essentially done, instead of having a spring and a summer split, they've got one massive split that goes across and carries across wins from spring and summer. There's no spring and summer. There's the LCK Cup, and then there's the LCK Championship, just with MSI in the middle. And I think EWC is here somewhere as well, so there'll probably be more time delayed on either side. I don't know if it's before or after MSI. So spring wins and losses carry over to summer. So that actually hurts teams that want to reinvest.
이후에 진행됩니다. 1, 2라운드는 9주간 더블 라운드 로빈 방식
So rounds 1 and 2 will be a double round robin format over 9 weeks, which I think is basically the same as just a regular spring split. What that is just a double round robin best of 3. That is just spring split, okay? Nothing complicated. It is just spring split.
으로 대결하여 상위 6개 팀이 LCK 로드2 MSI를 치르게 되는데요.
And then you go into a very similar thing to what the LCK normally does, which is just it's kind of like a gauntlet style, right? If you're first and second, all you have to do is win 2 series, and you're basically through. Whereas if you finish 5th and 6th, you got to beat 4th, then you got to beat 3rd, then you got to beat 2nd, then you got to, you get it.
킹 오브 더 힐 방식을
King of the
통해 총 5라운드로 진행되어 최종 단계까지 오른 두 팀이 MSI에 진출합니다.
Oh, I see. Wow. Okay. So they don't actually have a winner of spring. I see. So the first and second place teams from the regular season play against each other right here. And the winner of that goes directly to MSI. There's no grand finals. The loser of that goes to here. There's no grand finals.
라운드로 진행되어
So if you're finishing first in the regular season and you beat the second place team in best of 5, you're at MSI. That's it. Done. Whereas if you finish like 4th or 5th,
최종 단계까지 오른 두
you're going to have to make a run through the teams for King of the Hill, and then you'll make it to MSI
팀이 MSI에 진출합니다.
as the second seed. Interesting. Wow, so the regular season's really important. If you finish first or second, your journey to MSI is obviously a lot easier, but secondly, you guarantee first seed. If you finish third in the regular season, you cannot get first seed. You will only be at best second seed, because you'll start here. It is fucking brutal. If you have a bad regular season, let's say T1, for example, they finish 5th in the regular season. I think they finished 5th in the regular season in the summer, didn't they? Well, yeah, let's say they finish 4th again, T1. They're going to have to win their first best of 5. Then they're going to have to win a second best of 5. Then they're going to have to win a third best of 5. You're going to have to win 3 best of 5s to make it to MSI as the second seed. You're going to scrape there. And it's no double elim. If you lose here or here or here, you're out. The only double elim is for the top 2 teams. You get one shot as the first second, and then you get a second shot as the second first. Okay, so there's no grand finals. That's a very... I wonder how hyped that'll be for this first split.
두 팀이 MSI에 진출합니다.
Anyway, let's continue.
MSI가 종료된 이후 LCK는
So after MSI, we come back,
1, 2라운드에서의 성적을
and based on your spring split performance, you'll be made into 2 groups.
기반으로 레전드 그룹, 라이즈
The
그룹으로
Legend
나뉘게
group and the
되고
Rise group.
각 그룹은 그룹 내에서 BO3 트리플 라운드 로빈 방식으로
Best of 3 triple round robin. Triple!
경기를 치릅니다. 5라운드까지 모든 경기가 종료되고 최종 순위가 확정되면 레전드 그룹 1, 2위는 LCK 플레이오프 2라운드 직행, 3, 4위는 1라운드 직행, 5위와 라이즈 그룹 1, 2, 3위는 LCK 플레이오프를 위한 플레이인을 치르고
What
4,
the
5위는
fuck?
시즌을 마무리하게 됩니다. LCK 플레이인은 BO5로 총 5경기가 진행되는데요. 총 4개 팀 중 상위 2팀이 LCK 플레이오프의 5, 6번 시드를 얻게 됩니다.
Okay, this is really
총 6팀이
complicated.
겨루는 대망의 LCK 플레이
Okay, let's go back. I'll try and explain it. So LCK is separated now into round 1 and 2, and then round 3, 4, and 5. Round 1 and round 2 is a double best of 3 round robin regular season. Same as spring split. It is the exact same as spring split. So then, once you're done with spring split and you're done with those 2 seeds going to MSI, you come back, and whatever you did in spring carries over to summer.
1, 2라운드에서의
You'll be divided into groups based on how you performed in spring, right? So first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th carries over to summer.
성적을 기반으로
And you'll go into 2 groups.
라이즈
And in those 2 groups, you'll have the top 5 and the bottom 5, okay? They'll be moved into 2 separate groups. If you're top 5, you're in the Legend group. If you're bottom 5, you're in the Rising group. And you're going to play a triple best of 3 round robin. So for example, let's say, Genji's here, T1's here, KT, DK, and we'll say Fearex, right? You're going to play each other 3 times in best of 3s. So there's a lot of games.
그룹으로 나뉘게 되고 각 그룹은 그룹
Or
내에서
HLE, yeah, whatever.
BO3 트리플 라운드 로빈
So that'll make sure that you'll have a correct standings. A triple best of 3 round robin is a lot
방식으로 경기를
games.
치릅니다.
between the top 5 and bottom 5. Essentially, when you're done doing that,
5라운드까지 모든 경기가 종료되고
in your
최종
groups,
순위가 확정되면
so once the bottom 5 and top
레전드
5 have played against each other, the top 2 from the top 5 group will go straight to playoffs.
그룹 1, 2위는 LCK
Round 2.
플레이오프 2라운드 직행.
The
3,
third and fourth teams from that top 5 group, so essentially the top 4 teams,
4위는
will go
1라운드
to round 1. So that's kind of similar to summer.
5위와 라이즈 그룹 1, 2, 3위는 LCK 플레이오프를 위한
And then the last place team in the top 5 group and the top 3 from the bottom 5 group
플레이인을 치르고
will go into a playing
4, 5위는
stage,
시즌을 마무리하게
whereas the bottom 2 teams of the lower group go out.
됩니다. LCK
And
플레이는
in your those 4 teams in the play-ins will play a best of 5
BO5로 총
double elimination, okay? So you've got essentially like 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th playing a double elimination best of 5 play-ins.
5경기가 진행되는데요. 총 4개 팀 중 상위 2팀이 LCK 플레이오프의 5, 6번 시드를 얻게
And
됩니다.
2 teams from that group, from that best of 5 get out.
그렇게 총 6팀이 결혼
And then those 6 teams come together. So the 4 from the top 4 from the first group will come together and
대망의
they'll seed into a best of 5 single round robin. So there's no double round. This is the playoffs for summer, where the first and second of the group and the third and fourth of the groups meet the sixth and the fifth from the play-in stage. So it is double elim.
엘리미네이션이 적용되며
Holy fuck,
경기
that's a lot
수는
of games.
총 10개로 늘어납니다.
What?
이 모든 여정의 끝에는 단 하나의 LCK 챔피언이라는
They're playing... How are they going to fit that into summer?
영예가 기다리고 있죠.
They're fitting... What?
이후 월드 챔피언십 진출 여부는 선발전 진행 없이
And
LCK
the top 3 from that playoffs group will go to
이
Worlds.
플레이오프 순위로 결정됩니다.
With the 4th seed, obviously, they'll get a 4th seed from MSI, the LCK. I think is it the top 2 at MSI get a seed for their region? The winner of MSI guarantees a Worlds qualification. The second place at MSI guarantees at least an extra spot for their region. So they're putting it in here because they know those motherfuckers are going to make the final. Wow, that is a lot. So you're going from spring placement into no finals spring with a traction that's the regular season of spring is so important because not only does it seed you into an MSI qualification best of 5, it also seeds you into a different groups. And if you finish, let's say you finish 6th place in spring, your run to MSI is almost impossible. You have to win 5 best of 5s, and then you get put in the Rise group in summer as well. So imagine a team, let's say I'm fucking KT, and I finished 6th in the regular season in spring. I start here, I have to win a best of 5, win a best of 5, win a best of 5, win a best of 5 or whatever, and then I'm through to MSI as the second seed. And then even if I get to MSI and win MSI or whatever, I come back in summer, even though I finished 6th place in summer, and I'm put in the Rise group, okay, not even the Legend group, if I won MSI, because I was 6th in the regular season. And then I have to win the Rise group or at least come top 3. And then, if I make top 3 in my Rise group, then I have to win a play-ins best of 5 stage, double elim. And then I get the lowest seeding into the playoff summer best of 5 Worlds qualifier. Your regular season is so important. Like, you are absolutely rolled. You're so cooked if you fuck up your spring. Just think about how many games you're playing. You're going from double round robin best of 3s into elimination playoffs best of 5 into possibly MSI. Then you're going into triple round robin best of 3 group stage, where you might end up in a double round robin best of 5 knockout stage, where you'll then be seeded into a playoffs best of 5 to win the split and get to Worlds. The amount of games they're playing in the LCK is absolutely ridiculous. Am I crazy? Surely they're playing more games than they did in this year. I guess even if there's less games, there's more stages, which makes it for the viewer really exciting. You could be out at any moment. You don't do well in your group, you're out. You don't do well in this play-in thing, you're out. And then by the time you've done all that, you get the playoffs. And it all starts in spring. They have quite a complicated format. I get it, but I'll try and run you through it as the year goes on. So instead of the LEC, who have winter, spring, and summer, they have the LCK Cup, which is crazy format. Then they have spring and summer combined into the LCK Championship, which is just one big split with MSI in the middle. It's a lot of best of 3s and best of 5s. The first round LCK Cup is really weird. Each team gets put into groups and you play against each other in best of 3s, and then you win the groups together, and then you play-in stages in best of 3s, and then you win the best of 3s to qualify to the best of 5s, to qualify to the... Jesus Christ, man. It's a lot. It's going to be entertaining. I don't know how fair it is for teams, because it sounds like if you fuck up spring, the rest of your year, it's just become a nightmare. Because if you remember this year, regular season was important, but you always had that safety net of, well, we'll still make the regional gauntlet, you know? Like, we'll make the regional gauntlet. And that's like your last chance qualifier. For example, T1 is a very good example of a team who really needed that they needed that. They really needed that regional gauntlet. It got them to Worlds. And DK needed it too. Whereas now, there's no regional gauntlet. That's it. You play your groups, you go into your play-ins if you fucked up, and then you go into your playoffs best of 5. And top 3 teams of this playoffs best of 5 are through. That's it. Actually, T1 were top 3 in summer. They would have made it as the 3rd seed, worst case. But DK wouldn't have made it. So basically, these 2 teams and the finalists would be the Worlds teams for LCK. And obviously, there's a 4th seed if they win MSI, which would have been this team, I presume. Okay, I think there are changes to the LCS format and the LPL format that are coming out soon as well. But yeah, they've basically changed a lot of the formats for the LCK and LEC. Hopefully I've explained you through it all. Wow, the LEC format, in hindsight, is a lot simpler to the LCK format. The LEC format is like, hey, we're in season best of threes. Done after a best of 5. Hey, we're in season best of threes. Done after a playoffs best of 5. Whereas the LCK is like, you're going to face you, and if you do that, you're going to go there. And if you go here, you go there, then you go there, then you go here. And if you go there, then you go here, then you go there. It's like, what the fuck, man? TLDR, if you want to make worlds, just win your games. Just as it is with every piece of competition.